No, if I'm asking you for your assessment of the community situation. Keep in mind, not in one but many places, particularly in Orlando, Florida, man coming out of the mosque in the parking lot of the mosque or the an FBI official, and he said, "What did you pray about today? What was your prayer?"
There was an FBI official?
FBI official. When you can inquire into the conversation between a person and his God or her God, that transcends any notion of privacy, democracy. That is essential fascism.
Yeah. Well,
so the question here is, this is what Bertram Gross in his book Friendly Fascism has called. The efficacy of this fascism is it is so selective. It's only applied to a small percentage of the 2% of the population. So what I'm asking is, what are the environments in which the mosque is operating right now? The last, because we are running out of time, so please summarize your answer and then I'll ask a question.
Yeah, well, I think, the mosque under this kind of situation really is a masajid under surveillance. So if you're talking about a masajid under surveillance, then of course that masajid is in a quadruple whammy situation. Not triple whammy, but quadruple whammy. One is the fact that from a democratic point of view, whatever you say, loudly or in silence, with God, is supposed to be protected by the Fourth Amendment rights of the American. Secondly, you are vulnerable with regard to the politics of fear, because whenever you have a fascist or autocratic regime that interferes at the local level, they create this politics of tyranny. And of course, you threaten people, so people are even afraid of talking. So if you control people's thoughts, and you control their speech and their action, you control them at 3 levels of operation. And that's very dangerous in terms of any democratic society.
Is that what's going on now?
Well, that's the perception that has, true, real or imagined. But if that perception is accepted by some...
Well, let's look at that, for instance, in one of the 50 states. And I'll just not mention the state because I want to protect the people in case. There was a masjid that was invited to attend an FBI-sponsored meeting. They didn't go. They were invited again. They didn't go. They were invited again. They didn't go. 4 times. And 5th time, they felt intimidated. They had to go. So this was a meeting supposed to be where the FBI was going to find out from them if there are any problems. And they didn't want to go, but they were forced to come. When every single imam is sort of, almost obliged to come there in time, in terms of issues of surveillance by command posed as friendship and community affairs, that's intimidation. There's a mosque in California at the Fremont Avenue and the Winter Avenue corner where the camera is installed. Everybody who goes in there is photographed. I talked about it. Senator Murphy brought up in the issue in the whole thing. FBI said was not their cameras, and I said, whose cameras are these? And they said, the FBI spokeswoman said, we are sorry people are paranoid. I said there was no camera, and we imagine there is one that will be paranoia. If there's a camera that can be seen by everybody, it's there, then it's only common sense to say whose camera this device is installed. So when you have masajid in the United States where invisible forces install cameras to photograph everybody coming in and going out, that is, the question is, it is freedom of worship provided to people in America, but only selectively. Some people have it, others don't.
Can I interject here?
Please.
I guess I object to the picture you're creating.
We invited you to object. You have the right to. Please go ahead and tell us why.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me say that these are difficult times in America for Muslims. I wouldn't, given the current context, want to trade place with a Muslim. Okay. But having said that, I think you exaggerate and you paint an overly lurid picture. You imply that most mosques in the United States, or large numbers of mosques, are under the surveillance of FBI cameras. I don't think there's any evidence for that. I don't doubt for a minute that large numbers of mosques are under surveillance by the FBI. But it's also the case that the FBI, was at the conference this weekend, the ICNA conference that we all attended. And the scenario you depict of FBI inviting an imam to come in and repeatedly suggesting they come in, there is some element of fear that might be introduced there, but there's also a significant dynamic whereby the FBI is struggling while surveilling Muslims to build up friendly relations with them not for altruistic reasons, but because they're encouraged to do that while they're also encouraged to surveil Muslims. And Muslims and Muslim organizations want to develop those relationships. So it's a complicated dynamic.
No, hang on. It's not that complicated in relation to some rules. The whole notion of group punishment is a fascist tradition, and the Geneva Convention forbid it. No one community can be punished for the crimes of few by putting the whole 7 million people. The number exceeds the total population of many middle-sized countries in the world. When a state takes upon itself to surveil an entire community for the perceived victims of few, then it is actually not engaging either a democratic or a rule-governed or a constitutional behavior. It is extra-constitutional behavior which may suit you at this time for the reasons you stated earlier, being not taking the position, but it cannot be seen from the perspective of people on the receiving end as something that is consistent with democratic ideals.
Why is it extra-constitutional?
Because
has the Constitution suddenly been declared null and void? I'm not aware of that.
No, hang on. Two things, sir. Number one, if you had read the decision by Judge John Gleeson of the Federal Court of New York, given on June 14, 2006, which says any non-immigrants, which includes permanent residents, guest workers, seasonal workers, students,